Good morning, everybody. I'm sitting here messing with my camera again, hoping it will zoom in enough to see what I'm doing today. It's so frustrating. I've noticed that everybody working with Facebook Lives in the last week or two has been having the same problem I'm having, and that is that the camera shows things so far away, and no matter how you zoom or tweak or whatever, when you replay the video, or when I replay the video, I noticed that I look like I'm a million miles away from my camera, but I'm really actually very close. There's only about 10 inches between my camera and my table. And I have it zoomed in like crazy so that you can see some detail. Anyway, so today, I thought I would work again with this Market Goodness. It's the stamp set that has the veggies in it. It also has this fun little border print and a few messages. And I really like that the die cuts will cut out images for you to stamp, or it will cut out images on the pattern paper. So I've just been kind of tweaking it. Now, the one thing, I added a bunch of coordinating cardstock to my mix, and I also added one of the country wood wood grain papers to this. Not this side. I guess it would work if you wanted to. But this side to me looks, harvesty or whatever. Now it comes with a wood grain already, which is perfectly lovely. But I like having both options. It also has this fun purple. This is called Blackberry Bliss. Blackberry Bliss. That's the color of this. Now, in Close to My Heart World, I call that eggplant. But the other side has these little bags and totes and things that you can trim out, cut out, and use on your cards and stuff. And you can tuck things in them, the flowers or the veggies. The green, there's a solid patterned green, and on the other side are the fun tomato prints. That tomato die does not seem to coordinate with this print. I've messed around with it. It's smaller. Here's the size of the die in comparison to the print. So you can see it won't cut it out. So you'd have to make those tomatoes or use this paper. This is the pattern paper that the dies cut. The other side of this paper is I need to look at the colors of this paper. I don't know if that's peach pie. I'm not very good with my Stampin' Up colors yet, and I know a lot of you are Stampin' Up people. Let's see. Pecan pie, pumpkin pie, and real red, and garden green. Those are the colors of this. So I pulled out some inks, and I just wanted to use some of these papers and make a few cards. One thing that I'm kind of in love with now is this Baker's Twine Essentials pack, and it has several colors in it. And if you don't want to get a pack of multiples, you could just buy the linen thread, and you can see there's the difference in the color. Moving it around so you can see. So any of those would really work. Now what I've been using is this kind of toffee-ish brown color. So I'm going to leave that out for a minute because I'll probably be using that. And I just started cutting and trimming and making bases. I don't know what those are for. I think those might have been in my bin. Anyway, let me just put those on. Now, the other thing that you'll see a lot are the circles. There are 3 different patterns. There's this one with the little like leafy edge, and there's 4 sizes of that. And then there's this one with the lined edge, 4 sizes. And then this one with the like stitched edge, and there's 4 sizes. The reason they're not all organized all perfect is because I just throw them in and out of here. Like, I use them so much, they're sitting out on my table. So let's get started, because I know lately there has been some discussion about the length. Oh, I kind of want to do this one last or later. I don't know. There's been some discussion lately about, you know, how long it takes to do a video, and that people are super slow about making videos, and people don't have time to watch them and stuff. And I get it. I do. My feeling about it is I don't want to spend my time editing videos. That's basically what it boils down to. And so I could edit my videos to be a lot shorter, and edit out all my blah, blah, blah talking. But I like that. I feel like I'm with friends, and there's not really that many people watching my videos, I don't think. And so I feel like you can fast forward. You're not hurting my feelings. Okay, let's stamp a few things, because I want to give you some tips on how to make this work better. Let's start with the lettuce. So the lettuce, you can do it in any color. This one, I just picked up some avocado limeade cardstock, and then I stamped it in avocado or limeade, and then I put some darker green on the top of it in the shade, because there's a base and shade on this, and it looks fine. That way you could use any green you want. Here's the one that's cut out of the paper, and you can see it's more of a sage garden greeny color. So I picked up sage and New England ivy. Those are like 2 of my favorite colors, and close my heart. Now, my upline had a meeting last night, and she reminded me that we're getting close to that point where they want us to use 100% Stampin' Up product, and it's like in December, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna milk it for as long as I can, because I don't want to buy a bunch of ink pads that I can't reuse very well. I struggle with those. I know if I used them more often, I would get better and better at it. And I may end up having to buy a few colors just because I'm low on, or I'm missing certain color families. Some of these just don't match up with what I've got. You know, you just have to. What I'm doing here, one thing I've noticed with Stampin' Up dies is there's a much smaller white border. So stamping, cutting out images and then stamping is a challenge. It's more of a challenge than with Close to My Heart. So I'm lining up the bottom first and leaving that small border. And that means a lot of my images are not perfect. They're not. See how I left more white on that right side? So it's harder to do it this way. It's easier to stamp all your images and then run it through your die cut machine, because you can line up your dies on your stamped images. And that does work. For today, I thought I really just want to have this out and not be die cutting in between. Okay, now I'm using the New England Ivy, and you'll see there's a like a shade kind of color, our stamp. And when you line this one up, I have found that there is a line right here going down the side of the stamp, kind of on the right side. And if I line that up, everything else seems to go into place. And it doesn't have to be perfect because, I mean, it's just lettuce. I mean, who cares really? I mean, it's going to go on a card. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if you don't like the colors that I'm using, another idea is like let's just say like I don't love, for example, the white lines in this. You see how there's white lines on the lettuce? Oh, I meant to make one in eggplant. I have another one like to make it like cabbage. I have one in one of the cards that I did in this eggplant color, and it makes it look a lot like cabbage. It's really kind of cool. Okay, so one of the ideas that you can do if you really don't like it is you can take your green and you can just blend over it a little bit and see how it smooths that out. Now I'm using I don't know where, I just used whatever was on my brush, and so you can use, you know, any green you want. I just have a darker green on there, but I would probably use a sage green to do that. Let's see, it's a lot softer, but it softens up those white lines if you feel like that is just too harsh. Nice, right? So there we go. So there's some lettuce, and here's the lettuce that I left white versus putting green on it. You can see it does help make it look a little more real. Okay, I'm gonna set these lettuce pieces over here, and next I'm going to, let's do another one. Let's do tomatoes. Tomatoes are harder. Now tomatoes, you can make them like a darker red or a bright red, your choice, whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and use cranberry. I think cranberry is probably the closest thing to real red that Close to My Heart has. And cranberry is a retired color, but scarlet is a little more brown. So what I picked out here is the actual tomatoes and the vine. Now the vine, you know what's the top? It has this unattached stem is the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and real quick stamp some tomatoes. Should I do one in candy apple just so you can see what that looks like? I got the candy apple out. Just like that. That one, I think my candy apple red needs re-inked a little bit, so challenging. Okay, now let's talk vines. I'm gonna get out this New England Ivy again. And this vine, it took me a while to figure out how to line it up. And here's how I do it. That stem right there is the top. And do you see how it has like two main branches? It kind of goes down and then it goes across. And if you line up the one that goes across, that is the best way, in my opinion, to line this up. So I'm lining up this with the white that's on the tomato, and I'm pretty close all the time. It's like every stamp has a thing that if you line it up, the rest of it will fall into place. I'm not happy with these tomatoes as much, so who cares if these are... That helped though. To me, they look a little more retro in the lighter color. So that's the trickiest one to line up. Now, I'm gonna set my tomatoes over. Let's talk carrots. So carrots, you would think orange. Let's grab orange. But the orange is so bright, and the color of this is, what did I say, pumpkin pie or something like that? It actually is a fall color in this kit, not a orange. So you can see there's Gold Rush, pretty darn close, and there's pumpkin. So since the carrots and the paper are both colors, you could pick either color to stamp your carrots and it'll look fine. So I'll stamp one in each color just so you can see what I'm talking about, because it doesn't really take any more time to do that. On the carrots, it helps to line up the crazy ends, right? The ends that are like wonky. So there is the Gold Rush. And then here is the pumpkin color. And both of those, I got a white border on, which drives me crazy. So a lot of times what I do for those is I just trim a little bit off the side, you know, like I'll take my scissors wherever they are, and if you just trim like that, they look fine. You know what I mean? If you're worried about it. I'm not. So okay, so on the carrots there's this little top stem, and we want to go ahead and do those. Now we can do those in a dark color or a light color. I just grabbed one of my greens. I don't know which green. Oh, sage. And I'm just gonna do the ends of my carrots. So I think the carrots turned out pretty good too. Now you can see how you could make a huge like batch of vegetables pretty quickly. The hardest thing is, you know, cutting. To me, stamping first and then cutting is the hardest thing. It's the most time consuming thing. So that's something that I like to die cut first, because I can stack my paper and just cut a whole bunch of them. And that's why I try to do this way first. Now, the first time I stamped that onion, I stamped it upside down, and I was like, oh yeah, it doesn't go point down like you would expect. The onion goes point up. And I am using shortbread, which is a super light tan, because onions have that kind of yellowish tone, and I thought, well, that would work. The other color I'm going to grab is eggplant, because it's not totally perfect, but you can do like a red onion like that. And then the other stamp I have is this little radish or a turnip. I'm not sure, but I think on the paper pack, when you cut it out, it's purple, which to me makes a turnip, right? But in my world, I see a radish. And so I was like, well, make some of them red. And I don't know. You do you. I don't know. And then these have two different green toppers. One is this kind of leaf, right? And you can see exactly where that goes. And the other one is really tiny. I should put it on the tiniest block I've got. It's really small. So all I'm gonna do is stamp this on here. Now, one of the things you can do if you feel like you need some shading, this one is a real easy one to rock roll, stamp roll. So you can stamp it in your light color and then roll it in the dark color. And, whoops, let me try cleaning that off again so you can see it. It's like that one was not seeable. Okay, so I stamped it in sage, and then I'm gonna roll it on the side in a little bit of the darker color. And that gives it kind of shading, you know, it gives it a little dimension. We have some people moving in across the street, and so the dog is watching all the people outside. Let's see. I'm just gonna put the little ends on the onions. You can do them dark, you can do them light, you could do them limey color, whatever you like. Okay, that's all my stamping for the vegetables. Now, I am going to, okay, Moose. I'm going to go ahead while I've got this out. I'm gonna get out the hello, because I'm gonna stamp that message on a couple of the cards. I also like this thanks a bunch. The other thing I did, there's a message here that says bursting with happiness, and I did some stamp surgery on it so that I could stamp that on a circle, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Let me get my veggies out of the way. Okay, Moose, calm. It's okay. I think my husband's out there now too. So here's my batch of veggies. This is leftover from Wednesday. And this little crate, remember I made that from the wagon. I have this little thing. I was going to show you how I did the vellum with that. So that when you use this, you can see, like if I just lay this on top of my veggies, I feel like it gets lost in the color and everything. And I really like it to have a little bit of a, I don't know, it looks more like a bag. So I got out my toffee, which is the color that I use to cut out my bag. And basically, I'm just gonna use my blending brush and put some of that toffee ink on here, and you can make it as dark or light as you want. And then I'm just gonna use, this is weird, but I'm gonna use my glue, and I'm just gonna put this on here like this, and then a little bit around the edges. One thing about liquid glue is you can do these little tiny spaces like this. And then I'm just gonna lay that on there and let that dry a minute. And then I'll be able to just trim it off. And I'll have my, you can kind of see that my bag is going to look like it's got more substantial fabric to it or something. And this is fast to cut because you're just following the edge of the die. You're not like, there you go. See how the bag is now? And then when you put it on top of your veggies, you can still see that there are veggies inside, but it looks more like, you know, a tote bag. And I really like that look. So I wanted to show you that. Okay, let's do a card. All right, so on this card, I just started cutting card bases and pieces of paper that I thought looked good together. So this is one of those gatefold cards, and basically gonna just really quick whip this together, right? So you could do either side. You could do the floral print or the wood grain. I'm gonna do the wood grain. And that way this will go together pretty quick. Now on here, I couldn't decide. I knew that I liked this. This is pumpkin colored paper, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put on like half. Here, I'll put that on to hold it a minute. And then the other thing, I couldn't decide which size to use. Should I use the small one, the big one? And I'm thinking I'm gonna do it like this. And the reason is I want to stamp a message and do a little, but I need my items to show up a little better, and so I need that white background. So I grabbed that twine, and I'm just gonna tie. I say this like it's no big deal, but you know, tying a bow on camera is like the craziest thing. I always have trouble because it's out in front of me instead of like in my, you know, close to me. It's a challenge. All right, so, and look at how the small pieces I left myself. Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that. Let's see if I can do it. Yeah, it's really tight, really small. Well, I got half of it. That'll work. I'm making it happen. All right, so we're gonna do that, and we're just gonna call that done. And then I'm just gonna put a tiny glob of glue on there, just so it doesn't come untied. Okay, and then I have all these carrots. I have different sizes of carrots, and I want to put them in my bag. So, if I put my bag wonky, that leaves room for my message, right? So, I think I want this to say thanks a bunch, and I want it to coordinate. So I could do that in toffee, I could do that in pumpkin, I could do that in green. go ahead and, not every card will take gobs of time, but I just wanted to put a few together today. Now remember, when you glue messages on like this, you don't want, I didn't want that. Hold on a minute. When you put your glue on, you need to be careful about where you attach it so that it will open. I put glue on the whole side, but it's too big to just attach to one side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my carrots in place. There's one. There's two. And I think I'm going to use my other one I stamped. So what's everybody got going today? It looked like it was going to rain. It's been looking pretty gloomy this morning already. And now it's sunny. But I think that we need to do some yard work. We have this, I noticed the other day that this is that time of year when everything starts looking real shaggy. All the vines and the weeds and we have a lot of that. Okay, I really like how this looks. And then I grabbed these. These are the dappled dots. And you can see they have a texture on them. But this orange color, peachy orange color, I thought would look really nice on here. And ta-da, card one. And I can put a message on the inside. I love how that looks. Okay, there's one. Now this one is another, this one I fussy cut out the flowers. And I have this little message here that is going to say hello. And I think I'm gonna do that in eggplant really quick while I have this out. And now, I know a lot of you have made these kinds of cards before, but this is called a pocket card. And on the outside front, the only part that shows is this top. So I'm not putting anything down here. And then on the inside, you fold these corners up. So the inside actually shows on the front of the card. And I'm going to make that one green, not tomatoes today. Now I'm using a lot of adhesive because when you start folding and doing crazy stuff to your card, sometimes it comes unstuck. And then this inside part, when you fold this up, the inside's going to show. So you need something on the inside that's going to show through. So there's the flowers. I could flip it over. I could do more wood grain, but I really do like how the flowers look on this. I didn't think that I would use this flower print, and that's one of the reasons why I grabbed it because out of adhesive, sorry. I think I'm going to just, for sake of time, flip to my other adhesive. It's almost out too, but it is stronger anyway. The one thing about the flowers is that it's directional. There's an up and a down, so don't put them upside down. You'll notice on your card. And then of course on the inside, you'll need something white so that you have a message that shows. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna coax these corners up like this. And I'm gonna press. I didn't score them because I feel like on this card, every single time I make this card, it's a little different. And so I think it depends on how much paper you use and that kind of thing. Now the other thing we need is you need a hole here and a hole here so that you can tie those together. And so I'm just going to punch a couple of holes. It doesn't matter if they're even, obviously. I don't pay too much attention to stuff like that. But we are going to go in one and out the other, right? And then I just want to tie this shut kind of tightly. And I'm gonna go ahead and knot it because if my bow isn't great, then I don't want it to come loose. All right. Let's do a bunny ears style. Well, let's see if I can do this. Me and bows. I should do a bunny ear style bow because they just work better on stuff like this. But okay, so I have my bow. That looks pretty good. I'm just gonna trim a little bit off. And I'm going to put just a dot of glue on that knot so it won't come loose. Okay, so here's my deal. I cut out I fussy cut a bunch of these, and some of these were on the edge of the paper. And so I obviously need the ones that are whole to be up front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on the front of my flower, and that is going to attach to the front of the inside of my pocket, okay? Front of my flower, and then the front of the inside of the pocket. Now the other thing is you don't really want the flowers too much taller than your card. Like don't go too crazy tucking stuff big, or you'll have to find a bigger envelope. I mean, that's the worst scenario. You have to find a bigger envelope, right? Okay, and then the other thing that you can do just to make it look a little more like dimensional is you can use like, I don't know, foam dots to tuck these in. Ooh, you guys, I'm melting over here. I have the air conditioner set on 76. It's too warm. Okay. And by putting the foam dots on here, see how that makes some look farther back and some closer up. Now here's my dilemma. I cut these out of the edge of my paper, and I don't really want that sharp edge to show. And so if I put a couple of pieces of foam here on the front, I can attach it to this other flower, and it'll poke out and it looks like it's whole, but it's not, right? It'll look whole. And this one I can just glue to the back. See how that looks solid? I love it. I love it. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here, just right there. And I'll put some over here. So you can kind of see I'm filling my pocket with flowers. And if you wanted to, you could fill it with veggies too. I mean, there's no, like, you could fill it, you know, fill it up. The other thing that I have done playing around is, you know, this little piece of greenery right here. Like, you can take that and trim it off, or you can just tuck it in, and it gives a little bit of greenery to your flowers. You don't want the radish or turnip to show, but you get it, right? You get the idea. All right, and then I went ahead and cut out a couple of my circles, a lined circle and a stitched circle, and I want to put a message on. Now, sometimes you can put your message on the inside of your card, like right here. It gets lost, or you can put it here, which is what I'm going to do. And you only want it, you know, on this piece. Sometimes people put messages across the center, you know what I mean? Like a big banner message or something across the center. You could do that. I'm just messing around getting my foam tape together here. I'm trying to get rid of these. These foam circles are not my favorite adhesive, and so I'm trying to use them up. So now, awesome. Isn't that a cute card? And then, of course, we could use, since we're using that orange color, we can, you know, do the dots again. Wherever you want them. And you could even put them on the back of your card here. So you have like scattered dots. I just like how it looks. I think what I might do on this one is do a little greenery or something, you know, cut out some of the flower greenery, or it just needs a little something. You see that? It just needs a little something. And I could even cut out one more flower to use on there. But basically, there is the card. I'm just going to put that in there, and I'm going to leave room to add another little portion of flower. Okay, there's card 2. Here is a card that I made ahead. This is where I cut that bursting with happiness down. I cut out of the paper one of the baskets, and I used foam. I stuffed a bunch of stuff in the basket and then used foam tape on the basket so that it looks dimensional. It looks elevated. And then I scattered some veggies on the outside. There's that. And then on the inside, I stamped that fun little border in candy apple red. Lucky to Have a Friend Like You is from a Stamp of the Month from 2019. And this one, a lot of you have. Random Act of Kindness. People who were in my club, this was a very popular one. So you may have this in your stash, or you may have one that works great. Any of these messages would work great. Anyway, so this is one of those cards that I made. This is 5.5 inches, and this is 3.5. And all you take is an 8.5 sheet of paper, and you make a tick mark at 3.5 and a tick mark at the 5.5, and then you line it up point tick mark to tick mark in your trimmer and whoosh, cut. And then you have this 4 1/4 base, and then you fold it over and figure out where you want it to end there. I think this is 3. This is 3 1/4. So this will be a 3 1/4 score. And then from this edge, this is a 4 1/4 score. And that's what I did. So I love that. That other thing I wanted to show you is Impression Obsession. I have these fun pun garden messages, and these are really fun, and I use them on the next card. So I just thought I'd show you. Thank you from my head, tomatoes. Congratulations. You are radishing. I care it about you. Cute. I'm rooting for you. I just love it. And so, of course, I had to use some of my garden things. Okay, let's see. Let me get out my things that... Here's another card that I made. I used the crate, and I used that twine. And basically, I made a card base that's green. And then I made a card base that was toffee colored. And I just cut the top off of the left side so it opened, and I have sealed that shut. But you can see I decorated that, and it made like a pocket. So I added this cute little thing. I just love it. Added some twine. I just think that's really cute. All right, this one I used my distressed tile embossing folder. This is that one, Stephanie, that you like. It's really cool. It gives a very neat effect on your paper, and I did it on that Blackberry Bliss just so you could see. See how it's distressed? It's not even all over, which I really like. So that's kind of fun. I also did a couple of them in green because I thought I could use that. But I ended up using white. Okay, so this is just a normal 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, but I cut it the length of an 8 1/2 by 11, so you get 2 cards. And then I chopped off about 2 3/4 off the edge, and that 2 3/4 I'm going to use for part of my message here. See, I started it so you wouldn't be watching me put things together all day. Now, I wanted this to have something on it, and I looked at the different pattern papers, and I was like, yeah, I could make it, look however I want, a different pattern to show. But then I was like, I kind of like this being more white and more plain, and so that is what I decided to do. So I am going to attach. Embossing is one of those things I forget about. It's like if you don't have your embossing folders in your face, it's like sometimes I just don't even think about it. I liked this green plaid. See, the other side is the flowers you can cut out. I was going to fussy cut some flowers just to show you how easy that is, because they look like, no way am I doing that. But they are so easy to cut out. And I thought you probably wouldn't want to watch me do that. Okay, so I took my little piece off of here, right? You can see where that came from. And I'm going to flip it sideways. But I felt like it needed more. And I haven't even attached everything. I attached my crate with a little piece of foam tape, kind of like I did when I did that scrapbook page the other day. But I felt like adding a little something to the edge really seemed to help. And so I'm going to do that. And the other thought I had was I might go ahead and notch this like a flag notch kind of thing. I don't know if I've told you guys lately, but I really appreciate you watching. It really helps me if you make a comment, because I don't even know who's watching. I can see how many people are watching, but I have no names. None at all. I have no idea who's watching. And it's okay if you want to be anonymous and you don't want to be called out, because I get it. Okay, when you put this on, make sure you only put adhesive on half, or you'll glue it down. Like I almost glued my other card down with the message. Smart, smart. Do I want some twine on that? It needs a little something. I don't know what. It needs a little something. So I'm going to scooch this out a little bit and leave me some space for something there. I don't know what I want to put there yet, but I will. And then I have these tomatoes, and I'm just going to glue them in my crate. I have light ones, dark ones. I have that one. I'll leave one out. I wanted to do a whole bunch of tomatoes because my message is thank you from my head tomatoes. Head tomatoes. And I really like how this looks. But then I was like, well, what if I made the tomato part red? Is that better? Which way do you like it? Do you like it just that way or with the red? I'm not sure. Oh, looky there. That's what I want to do. Okay, hold on a minute. What glue did I use on that? I'm going to lift that just for a second. I love the idea of adding a strip of tomato. This is just scraps that I have. Cute. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me just do a little glue under there again since I ripped that up. Oh, yeah, I like it. Okay. And then, okay. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with the head to my toes thing yet. If I want to make the tomatoes red or, and then I'm just going to tack that on. I think I do want it red. I'm going to put it over the words and just, I just stamped it twice, right? I just stamped it in red and stamped it in green and cut out the word tomatoes. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. The other thing we could do, if we wanted to even do more, which I think this is awesome, just the way it is, we could do a stamped edge, like the little X's. I have these little X's. Let me see. My 3-inch block, it'll fit a little diagonal. And do I want candy apple or cranberry? I'll do cranberry since that's the color of my tomatoes. All right, and then I'm just gonna see if I can make that straight. Oh, that's cute. Yep. I have a whole strip now. So I could do X's there. I could do X's there. I could not do them at all. I feel like I need something over that. I may have to put some white on there. But this is cute. I'm just going to glue that down. Okay, and then I will figure something out, a white scrap that goes over that or something. Cute, cute. Now, these are those Secret Garden. Nancy, if you're watching, I think I said this was called Sweet Memories. Where I got that, I have no idea. It's called Secret Garden. But the avocado, this is that new artichoke color. And then, so there's a couple of different greens, and I thought that would be really nice to dot that up with. And we are done. Isn't that one cute? Oh my gosh. I love it so much. All right, one last one. And I wasn't going to do it, but I'm like, okay, I want to use that. Oh, I have two in here. Holy cow. Okay. Apparently, I felt like making cards. Okay, this one is quickie. This is a card that I want to make using that Blackberry Bliss, and I wanted to use that cool embossing folder. There it is, embossed. There it is, debossed. And and then I made an inside as well. So before we put the inside together, I decided I wanted to make a flap. You know, one that goes over. So I'm just gonna attach this flap first. That's gonna be like my first thing. I'm just gonna lay that somewhat centered. I'm not gonna measure. I'm just gonna eyeball it. And then we'll real quick attach the inside. And you want to put enough glue, you know, over that flap so that it kind of covers up your mechanism a little bit. You don't really want your mechanism to show, right? And then this, I was just going to put here as decor. This is a strip of this that I cut off. And I just thought, that'll work. I like to use up my scraps, right? Okay, now we have this and this. And this is going to go on here. Let's see if how much adhesive I have left in my, I think I'm going to use it debossed. My adhesive on my my tape runners, everything is low. Why didn't I fill those before I started? Okay, so I'm just going to put those on. Isn't that color gorgeous? Look at that. That is so pretty. So this will flip open, this will flip open, and now we just have to decorate. So again, I cut a bag out of this paper. I thought that was cute, and I thought, well, I'll put the flowers in the bag like a present. But it doesn't show up very well, and so it needs something behind it. You know what I mean? It needs a little something. And so I'm gonna go ahead and adhere that. The other thought is, like, if you wanted to put more flowers, cut out more flowers, you could, you know, use your other bag too. Like, make it like multiple bags and put several flowers in it. Isn't that cute? Or you could even put this one on the inside or something. So I'm going to put adhesive here and kind of arrange it in my bag the way I like it, and then decide where I want it. Now, be careful where you put adhesive so you don't adhere everything down. Like I'm going to put adhesive essentially here, right? I don't want it up here or down here. And so there you go. I'm going to put that like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little hello or something on there. I could say thanks a bunch. Thanks a bunch is nice. Hello is good. And it fits my circle. And so you can decorate that however you want. Like you can make that up high, down low. I think I'm going to put it low. And I'm only putting adhesive at the top because I don't want it to keep my card from closing. And then I wanted to use these. These are a couple of the dies in the set. I haven't quite figured out what they are for. Like I thought I could just use them, you know, on my page like this as little extras. I'm like, I don't know. They look nice enough. I'll do it. And I'm like, okay, that looks great. I could add thanks a bunch in here. Hello, thanks a bunch, thinking of you. You know, whatever. You could put any message you want on the inside. You could decorate this one as well, you know, behind. And it would be hidden. So that's that card, and I may do something a little more to it. All right, last, honest to God, last one. This one. So I got this in the mail and I was like, I gotta try it. And it's this folder. It's called Leaf Fall. It's one of the online exclusive things, and you can see it's leaves in the corner. I don't typically buy embossing folders like this because I never use them, so I'm like, I gotta use this. So I went ahead and cut it out of, that's my notes of what I need to do. I went ahead and cut it out of some like pumpkin colored paper, and you can see it has the fall leaves and it's really pretty. And I was like, well, to make it, I want to use more of that, you know, blackberry color. So I think I'm going to put that behind there. Now, to make the leaves pop more, there's several things you can do. You can take a sponge dauber and some toffee ink and just go over the leaves and they'll get some color, or use the blackberry or eggplant and go over the leaves, and it just gives them a little extra color. But the other thing that you can do that's kind of fun is sanding them. And so let me grab my... I have like a nail file that I use for sanding, and you can kind of see that when you sand on top of those embossed images, it gives you kind of a roughed up texture. And so I'm like, well, let's do that today. It's kind of messy. Let me put a little paper down. It might catch some of it, but I'm just holding my nail file totally flat, and I'm just kind of going over the whole thing. And I'm not like trying to be all perfect or anything. I just want some of the leaves to pop a little bit. Okay. Get rid of that. All right. Okay, so I have that, and I have that. And Gosh, I'm hot in here. Ugh. I need to turn up the air if I'm going to be hanging around in here. I have a tote bag, which I could totally fill. Oh, wouldn't that would be kind of fun, filled with leaves or something. I don't know if I want which one I want. Probably this one. So I have like a little tote bag. It does kind of look like the leaves are coming out of it. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? And then I'm just messing around now because I don't know exactly what I want to do. But I know I want the bursting with happiness on here and some twine around the border. So here's the thing about this bursting with happiness. Let me put this back so I don't lose it. Put the hello back. I like to lay down the messages and pick them up where I want them. Now you could stamp them all. You could stamp them individually, or you can pick them up like I'm doing. Like that. And then you can stamp your message. And this is technically a strip message. So instead of a circle, I could have just stamped it all in a row. Okay, what else do I want? I don't know if I like this or not, but I'm gonna see if I do. This is one that I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah, I do kind of like that. And then put the different tote bags. I don't want that to be too hidden. I like the leaves. I may trim this down a smidge so it's not quite so big. I like it there, but it doesn't need to be quite so much. All right. Yeah. And then I just need to, I need to do something with the leaves. So I'll probably cut out, I know it sounds crazy, but I'll probably cut out a few of the leaves, like emboss some more, and just like do a quick little fussy cut of them and put them in the bags, coming out of the bags. Like maybe color them purple, like instead of this. So, all right. So I'm going to keep working on this card. This is my last card. And obviously I've got some work to do to it, but gosh, I'm getting long. And I just said people are getting tired of these super long things. But I do think maybe even a few of the little flowers with it would look really nice. So I'm going to keep playing with this one. And I'll put a picture of that online because I'd love to add a little twine to it also. So there's that one. So let me real quick just show you one more time all the cards we made. We made this one, the tomato card, the one with the really cute tag, the Slopey card, This is my favorite. I love it. I like both of these real well. I love the colors in this paper pack. I'm so happy the paper is going on sale because this is a great example of a paper pack that I could easily use more of. I could easily come up with more ideas. Thanks a bunch. You know, I think I need a little bunch of carrots in there. And maybe the little X border in like green or something. Don't you think that'd be cute? Ah, okay. Thanks for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. And let me know what you make. I want to know what you're interested in seeing and what you're doing right now. It doesn't have to be close to my heart or Stampin' Up or whatever. I just love to see what you're making. Thanks for sharing. Bye-bye.